Hi guys, it's starting to feel a lot like 2019. Remember when Theresa May was ignoring the running of the country and instead trying to keep the likes of the ERG headbangers happy while trying to also avoid being brought down by Boris Johnson? Well, once again this is happening, but instead Rishi Sunak is trying to keep about a dozen families in the Tory party on side. The Conservatives are a joke, if you haven't already realised, and this bit of information from Sam Coates from Sky News reinforces that point. Have a listen.
The moment. Now, what happened tonight was quite interesting. Basically, a whole load of sweeties were thrown at Tory MPs. So they were told, in the jargon, that from now on until recess, it's a one-line whip. In other words, go home, lads.
Go
it's
home.
Time for sorry, they don't call it holiday. And some of them will say it's campaigning, and rightly so. But others of them will be quite pleased about that. And what that means is that they've put off the battle to kind of close the deal on Rwanda to the other side of Easter. In other words, that piece of emergency legislation that was so vital just a few months ago now is less important than giving Tory MPs a few more days of holiday.
Isn't it
just pathetic? So what happened? Rishi Sunak had a meeting with the 1922 committee. They were very angry when he went in, and they seemed to be quite happy when he left. So as Sam Coates pointed out here, he gave them a few sweeties. He says, you can basically go home. I'm not going to impose a 3-line whip. I'm not going to force anything on you. You can, in a sense, go on holiday early, which is pathetic because, as was pointed out a few months ago, he was introducing emergency legislation to deal with the Rwanda crisis, saying we need to do this. Is the priority of the British people. And now he's sending his MPs home early, in a sense, and not going to continue this fight. It's all a charade. Nothing but a charade. It's all a joke. It's all about trying to keep different factions in the Conservative Party happy, and to hell with running the country. It reminds me of 2019, as I said at the beginning, when Theresa May was fighting daily tactics against the ERG, trying to keep the ERG happy with this tactic one day and then another tactic the next day. And was she running the country properly? Of course not. And the same with Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson, right up to the end, spending more time messing about in airplanes than actually running the country. And now we're back at it again. Rishi Sunak, more interested in trying to keep different factions within his party happy, trying to hold on for as long as he can. And I keep saying this, Rishi Sunak became Prime Minister to enrich himself. So he wants to stay in the position as long as possible. And he doesn't want to be brought down. He doesn't want to call a general election because that will end his reign. That will make it more difficult for him to enrich himself and his family and his peers. So it's all pretty pathetic. It's all show. It's all charade, theatre. When in reality, what he should be doing is prioritising the public's concerns, be it the cost of living crisis, the NHS, education, the economy. But instead, he's focused on these psychodramas. And this is going to consume the Conservative Party. Now, some of them are focusing more on bringing down Rishi Sunak than actually winning the election. The headbangers in the Conservative Party are eventually going to take over. I don't know if it's going to happen before the general election or after. And as soon as they do, they're going to sink the Conservatives and keep them out of power for the foreseeable future. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.